Hey everybody, Alan Rodriguez here, founder and CEO of 1400, the Law Innovation Agency, coming to you from our just outside of our new office in Guadalajara, Mexico. I was talking to somebody about metrics, right? This came up at the last Atlanta Legal Tech event, and it comes up frequently when we're discussing with our clients. And I was hoping to maybe put together a quick video to kind of show the real power of metrics, right? And so there's a lot of talk out there about measuring your marketing ROI, that sort of thing, and metrics within a law firm typically evolve around that. But I want to give you an example of a metric that we're using at 1400 to maybe inspire a little bit more thought about how metrics might be used in your organization. So one of the services that we offer our clients are design services. So that's website design or some other kind of design collateral. Maybe it's brochure, pitch book, PowerPoint presentation, you name it. When we offer these services, we typically will include 2 revisions as part of our proposal process. And on the surface, this seems great, right? Because the client now has choice. If we kind of miss the mark on the initial design, we get to go back to the drawing board and kind of revise that to dial it in to make it perfect. Well, if I'm being honest, the revisions actually introduce a couple of other problems. One, it requires more work time from my designers, and so that starts eating into the profitability of a given project. 2, it kind of, even though the client may think at the beginning, oh, this is great, I want the revisions so that way I can dial it in, it actually drags the project out a little bit more, and the longer the project takes, then the unhappier the client is, right? It's the same in the practice of law. So one of the things that we started doing this year to try and address those concerns is we decided we're going to set a metric to measure first-time design deliverable success, right? So the goal is, the metric that we're going to deem to be successful is that when we deliver a design project to the client, it gets approved at the very first attempt, right? So we show a mock-up of like a homepage, website design, and then the client looks at it and says, wow, I love it, we're good to go. So that's what we're measuring, and the goal for my designers are to have that happen at least 50% of the time, right? And so the power of this metric really comes down to then, one, by doing that, by measuring it that way, my designers are forced to kind of be more thoughtful in the interactions that they have with the client up front, right? They really need to spend the time to get inside their head to really kind of get a good feel for what they anticipate to be a desirable design outcome. They have to be more thoughtful in their approach, and then they have to be more thoughtful in explaining the design approach upon the delivery of that design to the client, right? And when you do all that front end work, you have less revisions, which increases profitability on the back end. You have a more thoughtful designer who's really spending the time to really get inside the client's head. You have happier clients because they feel like when you give them the deliverable, hey, you really understood me, you got me, right? Like, this is great, I love it, let's move on to the next thing. So currently, my team, we set a goal for 50% first-time approvals. Currently, my team is at 75% first-time approvals, right? So the metric works, right? Like setting that as a goal and then measuring that outcome is really kind of improving a lot of things from the design side of our business. So applying this to your law firm, right? So maybe one of the things that you're trying to do, I'll just give a transaction example, is maybe what you're trying to do is speed up delivery time. So let's say you do prenuptial agreements or business formation work or things that are entirely within your control, transactions that are entirely within your control. You could then kind of set a metric. If it currently is averaging 14 days for delivery, you can set a metric of 7 days, right, to deliver a work product. A couple of things could happen there. If you really focus on this, you could do a better job of acquiring the information from the client. A lot of times this is dependent on the information that they give you. So maybe automating some part of that process to facilitate the acquisition of that information that you need to fulfill the work product. Two, it may force you to adopt automation, right? So that way you're not manually grabbing templates, inputting them, checking them, double checking them, right? Because you're worried that you might have left the previous client's name on there or something along those lines. So when you kind of think of the metric is actually just decreasing production time on a given thing. All the other outcomes that follow that could force you just to become a more efficient, practitioner, right? And run a more efficient operation and automate a lot of the processes you do. So measuring the right thing can sometimes really make the difference in ways that have a larger impact in your organization overall. So think about those metrics, and I'd be interested in hearing some of your ideas of what metrics or KPIs you're using to kind of run your practice. So share them in the comments, or if you have any questions about this, at Alan_Rodriguez. Thanks.